Hello, people, and welcome to another episode of Driving Dialogue. Oh boy, I gotta push myself on this one. I'm a little tired today. Oh boy, gotta get started. Gotta talk. It's the name of the game. We got a podcast. Man. Well, I started the other podcast the other day saying how I would have nothing to say, and then I had a lot to say. And now we have today, where I don't have anything to say. Here's off the top of my dome. 4 people liked the first episode of the podcast. So, thank you to those 4 people. Oh, wait. Then all of a sudden, like a few hours later, someone unliked it. So there's only 3 likes on the first episode. So, whoever it was that unliked my video, why'd you do that, man? Hey, why'd you do that? Come on back. You liked it. At some point you liked it and you clicked the little thumb that meant that you liked it. Why did you change your mind, mysterious person? And at first, when there was only 2 likes, I was like, alright, I think I know which 2 friends liked my video. But when there was the other likes, I was like, oh, people I don't know probably liked the video. And then when one of the likes disappeared, I was like, screw that person. So I went from loving these people, whoever liked my video, whoever liked it, I was like, oh, what a wonderful person. What wonderful people to get in on the action early and to support me and to like my content before I potentially, hopefully get real views. You know what I mean? And then whoever it was had the audacity to unlike it. Why on earth would you unlike it? What kind of crazy person unlikes videos? I've never unliked a video. I've unfollowed people. You know, like that's usually what happens. I'll just like unfollow people over time just because I get tired of their face. I get tired of the way their voice sounds. And it's not that I don't still support them. It's just I've supported them so long that I've gotten to be tired of them. It's a sad thing. I mean, in a way, it's like what happens with your roommates or something. Like, for example, I live with a best friend. And before we lived together, we used to hang out all the time. I would come over, we'd play video games. And it's the weirdest thing, because when we moved in together, I even joked. I was like, oh, we're going to hang out all the time. We're going to be 2 peas in a pod. We're going to be playing video games. We're not going to be getting any sleep because I'm living with my best friend. Well, the thing of it is you go from becoming you go from being the best friend, and then one day you're the roommate. And I don't know. I don't know if roommate is a promotion from best friend. It certainly feels like a demotion to me, because now that we're roommates, we hang out a lot less. We see each other a lot less. And I don't know if maybe that's just part of being older. I mean, it's messed up. The older you get, the more tired you are. You know, you want to come home from work. You don't want to go out to the bar anymore. Why would I want to pay 2 times the price of a normal beer just to listen to bad music and sit next to people that are annoying me? Though there is something special about being drunk in public versus being drunk at home. You know, if you're drunk in public, you're social. You're a socialite, you know? You're a go-getter. You're talking. You're integrating with the people. You know, you're considered a healthier, socially healthier person if you're drunk in public compared to being drunk at home. If you're drunk at home, then you're an alcoholic. Then you're a lowlife. You're a piece of crap. But what you don't understand, Mr. Judgy person, is that I'm drunk at home because it's economical. It saves me so much money to get drunk at home compared to being drunk in the bar. That's why I drink at home. I actually don't drink at home. Really, I don't really drink. But we've been kind of celebrating this holiday we invented at home with my roommates called Game Fest. And me and my friend, my best friend / roommate, we drank an entire, like, whatever you call it, pack of bottles of beer in just a few days, and we don't drink. So we were very toasty that first day, but it was the weirdest thing. Like, it was a great time the first night getting drunk, and only a few beers got me pretty drunk because I just hadn't drunk in so long. But the problem was the next day, I felt like I was playing catch up. You know, like I drank the same amount of beers and I wasn't nearly as drunk. I had to drink 2 times as much beer to feel as equally drunk as the first night. So, you know, I'm just saying, if you're trying to get effed up, if you're trying to lose yourself in the moment, Mom Spaghetti, I don't know why I said that. If you're trying to therapeutically turn your brain off, then maybe space out the drinking is what I'm saying. Don't do it 2 days in a row. Those beers will be wasted. Give those beers a few days to chill in the fridge, and then enjoy them. Man, I've been craving some of that Japanese beer. That rice beer, man. That's what I want. I want that make me feel like I'm healthy beer. You know, because wheat's the enemy after all. Gluten is evil. It's even got the word glue in it. You don't want glue in you, do you? Everyone's gluten-free now. And then it's like you eat food without gluten in it, and you say to yourself, I guess I liked gluten. I never ate food and was like, this bread has some really good gluten in it. But when you eat bread without gluten in it, you go, oh my gosh, gluten is delicious. Bread without gluten is like this sad cracker, which is also describing me. But, I don't know, man. I gotta be healthier. You know, last time I went to the doctor, I was a bit heavier than I had anticipated. Another problem with getting older is the metabolism goes. You don't want to cook when you get home after work, so you get fast food. And you just get screwed, man. Life screws you. Life screws you, man. That's today's theme, is how life screws you, man. I don't know. I kind of got screwed from the beginning, you know. I didn't have a father. I mean, I guess I technically did, because that's how you get born. But, yeah, he wasn't really there for me. This is kind of funny. I one time saw footage of my mom and biological father getting married, and I was a baby at the time. You know, my mom from a Christian family, her father's a pastor, so it was important to her to marry the guy that knocked her up. You know, that's sort of the religious right thing to do. But they weren't right for each other, and even I knew that as a child. And there I was at the wedding, crying my head off. The entire video on VHS, you can watch it if you have a VHS player or a time machine. You can see that I was crying the entire time, and I think in baby language, I was saying, don't do it! Don't do it! He's gonna make me mow the lawn every weekend. He's gonna make me pick up weeds with my bare hands and not let me come into the house until he's satisfied that I've plucked enough weeds out of the ground. That was such a bad day. One day, he makes me, like the moment I wake up, he throws a garbage bag at me, and I'm talking a big old hefty bag, and he says, you can't come in until this bag is full. Well, guess what? After I had picked all the weeds, I don't exactly got a full bag. So what the heck am I supposed to do? I start grabbing clumps of dirt, clumps of grass, clumps of whatever else isn't actually a weed. I remember like one time I was like, can I please come in and have a drink? He's like, why? There's a hose outside. And this is the summer. Like, I don't even know why he was mad at me. I think he was like in the doghouse with his current wife because she wasn't even home, or her kids / his kids. It was just me and my dad. And whenever it's just me and my dad, that's when things got extra bad. That's when he went a little extra on punishment, or talking to me about the birds and the bees, or just he would just get drunk. I don't know, he would do a lot. But anyways, let's finish this story up. So I'm outside all day. It's now nighttime, and it's the summer, so nighttime didn't come until like 9 o'clock at night. So I've been outside for well over 12 hours. I'm sunburned, I'm full of hose water, I've got a bag of dirt and grass and weeds, and I'm just trying to get inside the house. I just want to take a shower and go to bed. It's been a day. And I went to the door. I can't even see any weeds, or I can't even see any more grass to put into the bag. I don't know what he expects me to do in the dark, you know, unless he like lit a bonfire or gave me a flashlight. I don't know what he was expecting, but he was like, no, you still can't come in. And his friend inside, who he had been getting drunk with all day, and they're both really drunk, and his friend is like, come on, man, let him inside. He's been out all day. He's worked hard. I had a guy who was a complete stranger to me be a better father in that moment than my own father. And he didn't even know me, and I didn't even know him, and yet he saw what I was doing, and he felt bad for me. And at that moment, my dad, drunk, was like, you can't tell me how to raise my son. And they start fighting. And I never really seen, besides in movies and TV and stuff, I've never really seen two grown-ass men drunk off their ass fighting each other. And it was no holds barred. They were MMA. They were going at it, man. They were fucking scratching each other. You know, they did everything but bite each other, man. And they were on the ground. And the other guy, the guy that wasn't my father, was winning. And how weird is that for me as a kid, to see your own father get the crap beat out of him? And I was rooting for the guy to beat the crap out of my father. I was rooting for this guy. I was like, yeah, get him. That jerk made me stay out in the frickin' sun for 12 plus hours picking dirt out of the ground and putting it in a bag. So screw him. So I was so happy when that guy beat the crap out of my dad in my dad's own living room. And after, you know, my dad held his own a little bit, because after he kicked the crap out of my dad, the friend came up to me, crouched down at eye level to me, and he was heavy breathing, dripping in sweat, and he's like pointing right at my face, and he said, you never become like your father. You never grow up and become like your father. And even though my dad's right there, I said to that stranger, yes, sir. Because even as a little kid, I always knew I just had a piece of crap father, and it was really nice having an adult beat the crap out of my dad and justify what I thought was true, and that my father was not a good father. And you know, as traumatic as that experience sounds, when I tell the story, and I'm thinking about it just now, how many kids dreamed of that story? How many other kids dreamed that their dad one day just got the crap beat out of him by someone stronger and bigger? I got to live that dream. I got to see it. I mean, sure, like, my dad still sucked afterwards. He didn't, like, become a better person. He didn't stop being a jerk. You know, I still had to deal with my dad probably a good, 3 or 4 years after that. And, you know, he never got better or anything. But still, in the future, when my dad mistreated me or anything, I always just would focus on the memory of watching my dad get the crap beat out of him. That always put a smile on my face. And I'm not gonna lie, it still does. Dad, if you're out there listening, screw you, man. Hey, you gonna text me a month after my birthday and tell me happy birthday? I don't know how you don't know your own son's birthday, man. You know how weird that is for your own father to not know when you were born? It's like, I thought you were there that day. There's pictures of you being there. How is your memory that crap? Dad. Besides that, like, it must have run in my dad's family. Like, being a bad parent and just a weird person. I mean, rest in peace. My father's mother just recently died, and I wasn't allowed or able to go to the funeral because that side of my family is crazy. But, you know, I loved Grandma Ann. I loved her. But I will admit it was kind of weird is sometimes when I would visit my dad's mother and I'd be in the car with her and we'd be heading to her little apartment to visit with her, we'd stop by a grocery store and I'd be sitting in her car and she'd go inside. She'd say, wait here. And she'd go inside. And 15 minutes later, she'd come back inside the car. And I see she had a little card with her and a pen. And she's writing down something in the card. And then she puts the card in the envelope, licks it closed, seals it tight, and then immediately hands it to me right next to her. Here you go. Happy birthday. I don't know, man. Something about being right there while you're writing it down. It's like, why are you even bothering to put it in the envelope? Just frickin' hand it to me. It's not like the magic of a birthday card is the envelope. It's not like, oh, it's cracking the seal of your recently spit-covered, glued envelope. That's the highlight of my birthday. No, it's supposed to be the words in the card, or better yet, some cash. Grandma Ann, I don't know if she ever put cash in there, but I was just so dumbfounded that it wasn't like a one-time thing. Literally, like every time I visited Grandma Ann, we stopped by a grocery store, she picked up a card, she wrote in it right next to me, sealed it in an envelope, handed it to me. The whole thing felt kind of insane. And I know maybe listening to this, that doesn't sound that insane. Well, if you were there, maybe you'd agree with me. If you had experienced what I experienced, maybe you'd think it was kind of weird too. Maybe you need a little bit more background information about Grandma Ann. Grandma Ann was kind of weird. But if you don't think that's a true enough story, fine. How about this one? I wasn't even alive. I was barely alive. I was barely conscious. And here's the story of Grandma Ann. So, I was just born, and Grandma Ann came over to visit, and she would visit me. It happened, according to my family, 3 or 4 times. And what Grandma Ann would do when she came to my family's house to visit with me is she would hold me like, how do I explain? Like if you held a mirror in your hand and you needed to keep the mirror a certain distance from you to see the whole picture of yourself. That's how Grandma Ann would hold me as a baby. She would just extend her arms and hold me from a distance and just stare at me. My family said they were terrified of this because she was just sitting in a chair in the corner of their house, arms fully extended. Can't dare to, bring this child too close. You might accidentally give him some love and intimacy. No, she had to have me as far away as possible and just stare at me creepily. And I don't know if she was putting a curse on me. I don't know if she just had no ability to give a baby what a woman or even most men are able to bring to children, that nurturing, caring. I don't know if she had it. So the point is, 50% of my genetic code is from that side of the family. 50% of my genetic code is a grandma who, God bless her, she was a great person. She handmade me a quilt. She let me watch Mark Wahlberg's movie The Rocker, which had boobies in it, and I was too young to see boobies in a movie, but there I was, and I was being cool the whole time. I just was like, yep, seen these before, definitely not freaking out on the inside, definitely not taking mental pictures a million times of these boobs, because my God, do I love boobs. But anyways, Grandma Ann, she got me a quilt, she showed me boobs. Luckily they weren't her boobs. She was a good grandma. But she also, with the pluses comes the negatives, and she was kind of weird when it comes to love and affection. And so my father was the same way. I'm talking about my dad's mom, so it should be no mystery why my dad was messed up, because that was his mom, and his father was a Hell's Angel. I will never forget when I met my father's father. He pulled up in a trailer with a motorcycle attached to the trailer, and he just needed a place to stay for a few weeks. He slept on a cot in my dad's house. And I was visiting my dad for a few months over the summer, and I don't know, I was probably 12 years old. People who've watched the podcast before know that I always say I was 12 years old. Everything just felt like I was 12. I was young. I was definitely too young to be learning how to make a Jack and Coke, but that's what Grandpa taught me. And I say grandpa because I call my grandpa on my mom's side Papa. He's my papa. He's my papa. And I consider my papa my real father, really. He raised me a heck of a lot more than Jason, who I'm not afraid to name drop you. Hope you get doxxed, Jason. No, I won't say the last name because that might end up doxing me. But, the point is, my dad's dad was a Hell's Angel. And if you know anything about being a Hell's Angel, is you gotta kill somebody to get into the Hell's Angels. So I went from having a grandfather who's a pastor, a man of God, who spoiled me and loved me and gave me hugs and taught me baseball, to my father's father, a Hell's Angel, who was nothing but rude, sarcastic, and mean to me, and made me remake him his Jack and Coke until I got it right. And it's I wasn't even old enough to taste the drink I was making him to know if the Jack and Coke was good. But, I guess I should thank him on my bartending skills now. One funny thing that happened is when Grandpa the Hell's Angels, I gave him a good Jack and Coke one time. He was like, had a sip, and he's like, now that's a good Jack and Coke. And I was like, thank you, Grandpa. And he said, you know what? It was so good that I'm going to do something for you. And I'm like, oh, really? And I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, all the abuse and verbal abuse and fear and, making Jack and Cokes, it's all worth it. It'll all be worth it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in the will. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, wait, nothing ever good happens in this family. And sure enough, he's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in the will. Only problem is, I don't have any money, so you won't be getting anything. And my whole world was just crushed. I was so helpful that this old man was going to croak soon and leave me, I don't know, some money just to buy a new pair of pants or shoes or, I don't know, even a car someday. Because that's all I cared about when I was growing up, was having my own car and driving. I know, I just hated the homes I lived in. I hated being at my mom's house. I hated being at my dad's house. The only time I ever felt happy was when I was at somebody else's house, a friend's house. The only way to get to a friend's house was to have a car and to drive my butt there. But, it's just weird how, I hear how, kids today, they don't want to drive. They want to just stay at home, or they take Ubers everywhere. How the heck do these kids have money for Ubers? I don't know. My first car was actually further proof that my papa, my grandpa, my mom's side, my mom's father, further proof that my mom's father was a better father to me than my real father, is my first car came from my grandfather. He didn't have to give up his car for me, but he did. And it was a Nissan Altima, arguably one of the best cars I've ever owned. The only thing was, it was so old, and we took some trips to Reno and I was too drunk to drive, and I let my friend drive us home, and the point is, I let other people drive my car. I drove it it was my first car. It saw some war damage. It saw some brake usage. There was even in that same car, I banged it up. I drove the wrong way on the wrong side of the road a few times. I'm trying to think, what's the worst accident I ever had? Well, there's one time I was 16 or whatever, 17 or whatever, when I first got a car, I fell asleep while driving. It's the only time in my life I've ever fallen asleep while driving. And I'm actually glad I had the experience, because it just taught me to never fall asleep while driving. Because I fell asleep while driving and I hit the woman in front of me. And I was taking my little sister to school, to her little elementary school. And we were all in bumper to bumper traffic. And I hit this woman, and it's way too early. I was in sunglasses, so my sister didn't know I was asleep until we hit the lady, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? I was asleep. I hit the lady, and she looked, and there was no damage, so she yelled at me, and then she just got back in the car. And I'm like, that was cool. That's a lot of my experiences with car accidents. I can't really think of a time where someone really reported. Okay, so there was this other time where I was backing up my car in a parking lot, as you do, and this guy in a truck must have been going 30 miles an hour or something. He was going way too fast in a parking lot. And he hits the back of my car as I'm backing up. And as I understand it, in the state of California, whoever hits the back of the car is the one that's at fault. But even though it was just him at first, his family, I guess, was nearby. And all of a sudden his family comes up, and now I got his family and him yelling at me about this car accident, which was legally his fault, I believe, and They're like, you got good insurance? You better have good insurance. And I held my ground. I just looked them in the eyes and I was like, yeah, I mean, I've got insurance. I don't know about good insurance. I'm legally protected. I don't know. It just really bothered me that he was like, you better got good insurance. Like, clearly when you say that, you're saying I'm at fault. And it's like, your little family member here was the one at fault. And that was probably the worst car accident I've ever been in. And that wasn't even bad. I mean, no, okay. One time when I was a kid, I was in my mom's car. It's my mom driving and me and my little sister in the back seat. And my mom was just trying to be a good mom. And she turned around, even though she's driving, she turned around to us in the back seat. And she was trying to make sure that we eat some breakfast. It wasn't until the last, like, I don't know, five plus years or so that I've recently realized that I was an idiot and that breakfast is in fact delicious. But when I was a kid, I wouldn't eat breakfast. I don't know why. I just hated it. I loved sandwiches. What can I tell you? And I just hated breakfast. And my mom's turning around basically pleading me to eat. Please, you child of mine, how can I possibly let my child enter the world without eating breakfast? I don't need the world judging me on my parental abilities. So, I'm like, fine, I'll eat like some Pop-Tart. But as soon as she turned around to tell me to eat some breakfast, she doesn't realize there's a compact car directly in front of her, and she's driving a Ford Expedition. If you don't know what that is, it's the most tank-like version of a mom van. It's practically it's a truck plus a van put together. And by the time I was screaming, and my mom got mad at me because I didn't articulate fast enough or good enough. But in my defense, I was in junior high, and you should really keep your eyes on the road if you're a driver. Like, the idea of it being my fault in any way is just ridiculous. But I do remember she was kind of mad at me because all I did was scream. I didn't actually say the words, "Stop moving the car! Put your foot on the brakes! We're about to run over some teenagers!" Because I didn't say that, she got kind of mad at me about it. And it's like, well, I did scream. That's good enough. So I screamed, wasn't good enough, and sure enough, she basically drove on top of these teenagers' car like a tank, like a monster truck at a monster truck rally. The wheel is just completely over their car. It's over their trunk of the back of and the car's got teenagers in the back seat. And in my defense, even though my mom got mad at me for not being fast enough or articulate enough, if I didn't scream, she would have kept going, and she would have definitely killed those kids. We definitely would have run over those children. There would have been 4 pancaked teeny boppers in a Toyota Camry. But luckily I screamed, and even though my mom probably had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars, and they threatened to sue for medical damages, even though we luckily didn't actually hurt them. I don't know. That's definitely the worst car accident that I can think of. And the weirdest thing about it is that it was all in slow motion, my mom barely, I don't even know if she had her foot on the gas. But it was such a big vehicle compared to their small little compact vehicle that it just ran over them like a soda can. It just crushed them. It was pretty impressive. If anything, it should have been a commercial for the Ford Expedition. Do you need a car that you can run over a teenager's car with and your family will be completely safe? Get the new Ford Expedition. I don't know. If I'm ever given the opportunity to do a commercial or pitch a commercial to Ford, I'm going to recommend that they recreate my childhood experience of my mom almost killing those teenagers. I think that would be a good commercial. Whew, man. I gotta tell you, we're almost home, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle this episode because I'm just so extra tired. So extra tired today. Oh, it's Thursday in my world. I don't know what day you're listening, but that's Thursday for me. I only got one more day and then I get the weekend. Oh, and luckily I'll have Friday energy tomorrow. That's something that happens to me. A magical power happens to me on Fridays. I just get a better mentality, a better vibe to me, because I'm just happy about it being Friday. To me, every Friday is kind of like a little mini holiday, you know? Like, no one really works that hard on a Friday, you know? And everyone's got Friday energy. Everyone's just so hopeful for the weekend, you know? It's the beginning of the weekend, Friday night. What could happen? Maybe something cool. Maybe I'll find a girl. Unlikely. Yeah. Girls. I almost talked about girls. I don't know what I was going to say, but I do remember when I was thinking earlier today, what should I talk about? How about we talk about the fact that I struggle every day trying to get a girlfriend, but it's just never going to happen, apparently, and it's because I want a girlfriend, apparently. That's the reason people tell me. I have people tell me this, is that because I want a girlfriend, I can't get a girlfriend. And I hate that. I hate it so much because I think it's true. Because the best relationship I ever had, and this is sad to say it, but the best relationship I ever had was when I was in high school. And I gotta tell you, I didn't even really care if I had a girlfriend. In fact, I literally didn't care so much. That's how the relationship ended, you know? I broke it up. I didn't care. And I don't know, I guess I was just way more attractive to women when I don't care, which is pretty lame because I like caring. And I also like to end the episode because I'm home now. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good day.